What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Not Today. God, I still haven't figured out. Can we start over?
No, sure. We're in it.
Fuck!
We're fucking in it, man.
Oh, I'm still recovering. Look, full disclosure,
we haven't even changed our clothes.
We haven't changed our clothes. We're still in it. Welcome to another episode of Not Today, guys. I'm Jenn Sturger.
Eddie Pence.
And yeah, we're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here. We're still trudging through the trenches, figuring this shit out as we go along. Oh, Eddie, how's life for you?
It's
still trying to get back to normal.
Trying to get back to normal. Trying to, again, like I mentioned last week about like being detached from personal things. Like I'm trying to go through my stuff now and go, what can I get rid of? What do I not need?
How's that going?
Not
As
well.
Someone who's kind of, no offense, you're kind of a hoarder.
I'm a collector. Not a hoarder. I'm a collector.
Good Collectors
save.
Are hoarders that just organize their shit.
No, I collect things. I don't hoard them.
Are you a villain in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie?
I'm the collector is what I am. I'm not a hoarder.
Oh,
There's a big difference.
Well, one of our followers just Photoshop Eddie looking like Benicio del Toro in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I collect hoarders.
Were you holding the Guardians out, Eddie?
Hoarders like just fucking I'll just take. They just fucking grab shit and then stick it somewhere.
Hoarders have purpose.
Where do you fall between hoarder and 40-year-old virgin?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The collector that the 40-year-old virgin was, who had all the action figures in pristine condition. Like, what's the difference? There's got to be a differentiation between hoarder and collector.
I think it comes down to organization.
Okay.
Would you say your place is organized?
My collections are organized. My action figures are organized. They're on shelves and they're fully displayed.
Eddie, I'm going to send you a test.
Not a hoarder. Collector.
So you're going through all of your stuff.
Trying
Are any of the collections getting cut?
No, I'm trying to slow down the collecting. Not adding to the collection.
Would you ever consider maybe putting some of the collection away? Like museums don't put their entire collection out at the same time. Would you ever consider maybe possibly taking some of the collection and putting it in, doing like a rotating exhibit?
Right. Yeah, that's a good
idea. That might be a way that you also preserve
because I have some collection in the garage.
The artifacts of Star Wars.
We have a definition.
Okay.
What?
We
have a definition.
What's the definition?
Okay.
Collectors organize and value their items,
Aha!
while hoarders accumulate items without organization.
Aha!
All it comes down to is whether or not they're organized.
Collectors are often proud of their collections and want to share them, while hoarders may experience distress when trying to depart with their possessions.
Not a hoarder.
Did you have?
I'm a collector.
Yeah, because you didn't have any distress.
I didn't have any distress.
You left behind an entire planet to die. In the fire?
I left behind 3 or 4 toy lines. G.I. Joe, Star Wars, Marvel.
G.I. Joe can fend for themselves.
G.I. Joe was fine. I wasn't worried about Snake Eyes. He's already been burned. But Marvel and Star Wars I was concerned about. Except Vader.
So we're talking about obviously Eddie's trying to downsize after the LA fires.
I only grabbed 2 things of my collection
when you went to evacuate. Yeah, you only grabbed 2 things. Which were? 2
mini figure Legos that I'd gotten at Comic-Con in 2019 that I had them graded by and they're worth, each one's worth like $1,000.
Okay.
So I was like, I'll grab these because again, if these are valuable and if I need to have money, I can sell these to help get back on our feet. Yes. So I grabbed the things I knew were most valuable out of the collection. And then I left. I didn't grab everything.
Of course, if all of society collapses, then you're just going to be a dude with 2 little Legos that you could
be nothing, worth nothing.
You're going to be trading those for dry land. For water.
Did you make a Waterworld reference?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you recognize it?
Dry land.
Exactly. Did you recognize it? That you're just as at fault as I am. Anyways, but yeah.
I have a season pass to Universal.
That's your excuse.
I know.
But so you had those things.
Right.
But yeah, think about it. When you go to like a museum, they don't always have like
everything out.
They
rotate it.
Yeah.
I've thought about it.
Like they probably have some mummies in the stock room.
I've thought about it.
You know what I mean? Like they rotate stuff. So that way things don't so that people have a reason to keep coming back and they don't see everything all at once. I don't invite people over
to look at everything. But it's for my own personal use.
I feel like you've definitely hit up Jerry and been like, hey, do you want to come
we both have collection. We're both collectors.
Yeah. So do you charge admission to see each other's stuff?
Oh, that'd be a good idea. That'd be a good idea.
Hey, I'll let you come over and see my entire Star Wars collection.
We collect for each other. Like if I see something out that he likes, I'll grab it and I'll go, hey, I got this for you. And then he'll do the same thing for me.
That's just codependent hoarding.
We are. We're collectors. We're codependent collectors, not hoarders.
But did you have any distress about leaving the rest of the collection behind?
No, I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't.
Huh.
I love it. It's something that brings me joy.
Brings you joy.
I'm proud of it.
Yes.
It's why it's displayed. But in the moment when I left it, I didn't have any like, oh, should I just try to get a big box and scoop everything into it?
This is so interesting that you had this realization about this stuff.
I'm totally detached from it.
Because you genuinely like to collect these things.
But then I also know they're just things.
Yeah.
And I kind of had that before I had to evacuate, but after they evacuated, it sort of solidified it. Like these are just things.
So how is your collection organized?
By shelf.
No, but I mean, like that's but how?
I have a G.I. Joe shelf. I have a Star Wars shelf.
So it's by genre, essentially.
Yes, by toy line.
By toy line.
By toy,
yeah.
I collect G.I. Joe action figures, the 6-inch ones. I collect Star Wars Black Series, the 6-inch ones. I collect Marvel Legends. Those are the 3 collections I have.
You have other things besides that. But those are your key wings
like
of,
I've gotten some
of the Pince Museum.
Yes, I collect Star Wars things. Like my friend Ralph, I do the other podcast with. He bought me every Christmas. He'll get me something to add to my Star Wars collection. Like he got me a Star Wars lunch, like a vintage Star Wars lunchbox.
Okay.
From like 1980 or 77. This year he got me the entire first wave of the original Star Wars collecting cards. Like I have things that are like not action figures, but they're Star Wars collection. And so they are collectibles that mean something, that have value to them.
Yeah, but I think collections can only be as big as your place allows.
Right.
And I think at this point, you and your family are living in a collectible museum.
There's a lot in there. There's a lot in there. And I need to get it out. I do need to get it out.
So I have the exact opposite problem. You
have all the space.
I have space, but it's because I don't keep a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No.
Where like to the point where people are like, this is a little weird. Some parts of your house don't look lived in.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of like keeping things neat.
Yeah.
And organized, because if I don't, the way ADHD works is like, sometimes you'll just see like random piles of stuff.
Yeah.
And that just means like my brain hasn't figured out where that goes yet. So like these piles.
Can you live with the piles, or do you have to figure out the piles?
They cause me a lot of shame, and there's not a lot of them. I think I have 2 piles in my house right now. I'm actually pretty good. And the piles like aren't big either. Like there's one in like the corner of my kitchen that's usually like it's Amazon stuff that I haven't figured out where it goes, or like it's like shit people give me that I'm just like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to do with this.
Fit my life.
It doesn't fit my life. What do I do with this? So like if I can't find a place for it immediately, it goes there.
Right. And that's like purgatory.
Yes.
And then you decide if you.
And then eventually I have like appointments where I'm like, okay, I have to tackle the pile today.
Right.
I have to look at the pile and I have to make a dent in the pile and I have to go through this and sort through it and see what stays, what goes. And then I have another one in my bedroom that's just like, it's all stuff that truly belongs in like a junk drawer, but even my junk drawer is organized.
Yeah, you have an organized junk drawer.
People think I'm insane when they open up my junk drawer and they're like, oh, there's sections of a junk drawer.
You're very similar to Tracy's mom. She's very, like, there can't be clutter in her house.
I can't with clutter.
Like, when we're there visiting or whatever, I'll just take a glass out and just fill it with water and I'll drink. That'd be my water cup.
Yeah.
And if I was at home, that's my water cup for the day.
I know you left your water cup in my bathroom. I did.
Had I been staying there longer, I would have gone back and gotten my water. I need some water. Let me go get my cup.
Yeah.
So I don't want to dirty up 6 cups throughout the day because I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
So that's my water cup.
Yeah.
But I go to her house to visit and I have my water cup and I'll just set it on I take it and I set it on the back counter by the backsplash of the sink in the kitchen. Yes. Completely out of the way from anything.
But she can't stand that.
But I'll come down an hour later, go, I'm going to have some water. I'm going to get my cup. Gone. It's in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And I'll do that again. I'll get another cup.
What, Mark? What? Do you have a water cup too?
Absolutely.
Why don't you guys just get Stanleys?
Why do you I have one cup that stays to the side of the sink. Yeah. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. It's there for a reason. It's not dirty.
I'm going to come back multiple times a day, fill it, drink
I didn't drink milk out of it. It's fine.
This is such male behavior.
But why do you want to dirty 6 cups in a day?
We don't want to just...
That's dirty in 6 cups. I'm going to drink 6 cups of water a day. That's what I do. I can't drink all 6 at once.
We're saving the environment 1 glass at a time.
I'm saving water because you're not doing all these dishes.
Well,
it's environmental.
Yeah, that's the same excuse my ex-husband used to use when I would he would eat ice cream on the couch and he would leave the ice cream container in the couch.
That's different.
Oh, no. That's fucking you're trying
filthy.
To lump us in.
No, that's different.
With grotesque.
He's like, I was going to throw it away when I think it's just women have this need for like stuff to get done now.
I wouldn't put a Ben and Jerry's container on the couch and just like, I'll get that later. I would never do that.
No.
We're just talking about wanting to drink from the same cup.
Just so I don't dirty a cup up. That's it.
And it's probably, Eddie, is it a Washington Commanders cup?
It's a plastic cup because I don't like drinking out of glass.
Okay.
And at her house it's a Virginia Tech cup. That's what it is. It's a plastic cup.
There's just so many little red flags here. Are you sure you didn't pass that? Are you sure that test didn't come back with any results on it?
May have.
It was the Virginia Tech.
It's probably the Virginia Tech.
Oh, that's what the face was.
I'm a Hokie. I can't help it.
But yeah. Okay, so you're going through your apartment right now and you're trying to get organized.
Trying to. But
how's it going?
I'm such a procrastinator that I can't. I'll be like, you know what?
Mark's like, have you tried the Marie Kondo fire method?
So I'm like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to tackle this pile. I'm going to go through this. What can I get rid of? What can I keep? I'll do that. And it's in my head. I'm going to do this tomorrow. And tomorrow comes around and I just okay, I'll get to that later. Let me go do something else. I'll find things to do to avoid what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, that's very normal.
Especially when it comes to if it comes to writing or doing anything creative or productive, I'm like, okay, I'll get to that. I'll make this imaginary list in my head and I'm like, I'll have all these things I want to do. I'll do them. And then I just fucking forget to do them.
But that's the crazy thing is, so for me, I don't know how your brain works, but this is how my brain works. My space has to be neat and tidy in order for me to be creative. So I will actually prioritize cleaning, organizing, etc.
In order to be creative?
Instead of being creative.
I've never been in a tidy place.
It goes.
So I have no idea.
It goes work.
Yeah.
Cleaning, creative stuff.
Okay.
Which is part of the problem because a lot of my passion projects kind of get stuck in their infancy because I get stuck on that part too where I'm like, my space isn't clean enough.
But you're using the cleaning to procrastinate from creating.
Enough. What's that?
You're using the cleaning to procrastinate from the creating.
Yeah. Procrastinating is definitely a real thing. I'm serious.
See, I don't have the procrastinating. I have the procrastinate anything. Like I just I'll find busy work to do. It's like today before I came in here, I was like, I had like 3 things I needed to do.
Yeah.
I did none of them because I'll clean the Brita filter. And that's what I did before I came in.
Why?
Because Tracy at one point before she left for jury duty, which she has, I was like, she's like, could you please clean out the Brita filter? And so in my head, I'm like, Brita filter sticks in my head. And I'm like, okay, I have these other things I need to do, but you know what? She'll think I did stuff because I'll do the things she asked me to do instead of doing things I need to do.
But that's a honey-do list. So
it
I
is
feel
a honey-do
like
list.
that.
But I'll do the honey-do list because.
Have you tried making a list of all the stuff you have to do?
I can't.
Why?
I should.
My phone is full of lists. My phone is full of lists, and so is my calendar. My calendar has like on any given day, it's got like 3 or 4 things that I need to knock off, or things that in an ideal world I would knock off. You know, my to-do list.
Yeah.
And then it has the actual things that are my appointments that I have to keep, or like the things I do for myself, like go to the gym, etc.
Yeah.
That's all in my calendar. Because I'm like, I want to see.
So you have a nice, neat, orderly brain. To list stuff?
No. There's a section of my brain that's neat and orderly, and then there's the other part of my brain that's pure chaos. Because the reason I asked you if the Brita filter was like something you got asked to do, or if it was something you noticed.
I never voluntarily do a Brita filter.
No, it's not involuntarily, but is it something that you noticed needed to be done?
No.
So how an ADHD brain works is I'll be like, oh, I have to get this task done. And then while I'm going to do said task, I might notice something over here in the corner of my eye that I'm like, oh, fuck, but I need to get that done. So I'll go and I'll do that. And then that might need me to also do this other thing.
So at least another thing.
So it's spider webs into this. And meanwhile, the original task is over here.
Waiting.
Undone.
Yeah.
still undone. And I'll get to the end of the day and I'll be like, fuck.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, because it just pops into my head that I didn't do it. That is how ADHD
See,
works.
like the Brita filter thing for me is I guess maybe this is the male rationale. I look at, I'm like, well, there's only, it holds water. There's only ever been water in it. Water's clean. Why would you ever clean a Brita filter?
It's not, especially not right now.
Amen.
It's only ever had water in it.
You could almost say the same thing about
water.
like your bath mat. It's
exactly.
like I only step on it after I'm the cleanest I've ever
The only thing that's ever touched a bath mat are my clean feet.
Ew. No. And water. Water can get stuff mildewy and like it can build bacteria.
It dries. It's one of those rubber ones. It dries.
No.
But like
oh, don't get me wrong. It gets washed every week, but not my choice.
No, not my choice. It's because I'm told to do it or someone else does it. The same with the Brita filter. It's like I was told to clean it, though I think it needs no cleaning because it's only ever held filtered water.
Okay. Poll for the 2 men in this room. How often do you guys wash your pillowcases?
Only when I'm told to wash my pillowcase.
Wait. I may be better trained. Pillowcase gets changed twice a week and washed at the end of every week.
Okay.
So I go through a pillowcase every 3 days.
That's insanity.
I have gray skin.
That's a man. That's a man whose wife has taught him about skincare.
If anyone knows about skincare, it's Tracy. She fucking harps about. She's always about skincare.
Then why are you not cleaning your pillowcase?
I don't, but I'm only told to do it. She's like, we have to change the pillowcases tonight. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do that. We're going to change the sheets too. We've had these sheets on for a week. I'm like, oh, but I take a shower before I go to bed. So only thing that's ever been in my on the sheets is my clean body from the shower. I'm a night shower guy.
You don't think you sweat? You don't think you sleep hot?
No, I don't sleep hot. I sleep cold, if anything.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't sweat in your sleep at all?
I don't think so. Unless I'm sick.
Oh.
If I'm sick, I'll clean the sheets. That makes sense.
So what's your hang up with to-do lists?
I can't. I think it might be an ego thing where I'm like, I can just keep, it's like the waiter at a restaurant who doesn't take down the order.
Oh.
And you're sitting there and like 5 people are giving the order. And he's like, I got
That's
I'm like,
not how
which are the worst ones.
I know, but that's who I am with lists. I'm like, I'll just do it in my head and I'll be fine.
You're not someone with an allergy, obviously.
Yeah. It takes one peanut allergy and it's going to fuck your life,
that's who
Eddie.
I am. I'm that guy I'm the waiter at the restaurant. It's like, I don't need a notepad. Just tell me your guys' order.
Yeah, no worries. It's a 52-page menu, but I got this and all the customizations.
But that's who I am. I'm not the, so I try, it's a thing. I'm like, I know things I have to do today. I'll get them done. And I never get them done.
No.
So I do need to make a list. I just need, there's like, I guess I've read this article, but there's like these 10 reasons why we do lists to begin with, because I don't think I wrote it. I'll talk about it. Let me pull it up.
So I love list because list help me prioritize the things that are I need to get done.
Yeah. My son does it. My son makes lists and gets shit done. Tracy has a list by her bed. She'll wake up in the middle of the night and write something on her list.
It's definitely an ego thing.
It's probably an ego thing. I'm just that waiter. I'm the waiter at the restaurant.
So question.
What?
Do you ever get ideas about jokes and stuff and creative stuff before you go to bed?
Yeah,
and you go,
I've lost an hour's worth of material over my life. Not writing it down.
Yes, because you go to yourself, I'll think about it. I'll remember that in the morning. That was so genius. I'll think about that in the morning.
I'll lay in bed. I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's good. Okay. I'll write that down in the morning.
You have to write it down.
And then I wake up, I'm like, what the fuck was that?
You have to write it down when it happens.
I know, but I don't.
In its most complete form possible. Because sometimes I look at my notes and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I was like, whale nipple? What the fuck does that mean? These are the reasons you should write down lists. Number 1, externalizing what we need to remember. Yeah. Which makes sense because you see it and it's there, right? It's a visual, physical list.
Yeah. Because otherwise it's just getting kicked around in your brain.
Right. And you don't forget something. You don't forget number 4 on the list. Mm-hmm. Remembering across contexts. When we retrieve a memory, it is often retrieved in context. Without right context, we have difficult remembering. That's why people forget why they came into a room. The initial encoding context was different in the room. Lists provide an effective context-free method for remembering.
That's interesting. So like, it's kind of like take the study for the test the way you're going to take the test.
Yes.
So when you change rooms, you're like, why did I come in here?
Right.
Because you didn't think of it while you were in that room. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
And sometimes when you go looking for shit, you have to go back to the room you lost it in. Like, let me see if I can remember where it is.
That's so interesting. Yeah. I hadn't put that together, but it makes a lot of sense.
Then number 3 is resonating with our serial processing. We naturally take things one at a time. What feels like a parallel processing is often sequential. with several tasks performed one at a time quickly. The linear layout of a list is friendly to one's serial processing. So it's avoid, because we try to multitask shit and we get confused and stuff gets jumbled.
I think they're talking about what I just talked about, which is like when you go to do one thing and then it spiderwebs off into another, and it spiderwebs off into another.
When you have the physical list,
you have to come back to the original task. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
You can add that to the list, but go back to your list and
for sure.
Yeah,
I think it's smart if you break down bigger tasks into these type of things.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like when I was getting the calendars done, well, I'm like, okay, well, I got to put all the addresses on them.
Right.
Okay, then I got to stuff all the envelopes. Then I got to take it to the mailbox. You know what I mean? Like I got to take it to the post office. You know, like, so it was like giving myself that step by step, because otherwise just the act of like, I've got to get these calendars done makes me be like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Because it's such a huge
But if you put
task.
down everything you have to do, it breaks it down to smaller, achievable tasks.
Yes.
Instead of the giant task in front of you.
For sure.
Adding without restructuring. We can amend a list by simply adding to it. A list is not an outline that requires rearrangement with each additional item. If we want a carefully ordered sequence, we can simply renumber or then reorder. So it's the same thing as like it spiders out into something else. You just add it to the list. And if it's more important than the original thing,
it bumps up in priority.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you put it on the list.
And it's smart because then you can see like what are the things that are actually important.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do with my list is I'll look at it and be like, what are the things I have to get done versus the things that I want to get done.
Like pay rent today.
Yeah,
should be at the top of the order and doesn't get bumped down.
It's on auto pay, but yeah.
Well,
they probably robbed me blind.
Yeah, probably. I walk mine in every fucking month.
You're like, there you go.
There you go.
In pennies.
Paid that shit.
Just to spite you.
Dude, I walked it in one time and then we got a late fee. I'm like, I got the fucking receipt right in my hand because I make them give me a receipt when I walk the rent in there.
Oh.
I'm like, no, you take that fucking late fee off.
That's such a waste of time.
It's the one thing, I don't know.
Where is it? Is it in your building?
No, it's in the valley. It's over by you.
What?
I drive it in once a month. I drive the rent in.
That is the most batshit insane thing. No, stop it. That's such an antiquated way to get shit done.
Yeah, that is petty.
That is so petty, right?
I got a late fee one time.
That is Tom Petty.
So they have stuff called certified mail.
Or
just they sign for it.
Or you can just show them the bank statement where you're like, here's where I made the payment.
I got the fucking receipt.
Yeah, so does your bank.
Got the receipt.
So does your bank.
I need that receipt.
That is insane. It's Eddie, you need to prioritize like that, but that's
I mix it in with other errands I have to do.
That's an hour of your life that you can't get back.
Yeah, but
once a month.
It's stopping at your favorite taco spot that's not near you does not count as errands.
So running an errand.
No, it's not.
It is.
Eddie, I can already tell you right now that honestly, some stuff's making a lot of sense to me right now. Continue.
Number 5, generating new items is why we make lists. While creating a list, a new item can act as a retrieval queue for another item. Each new item on the list can encourage memory for another important item.
No, that's ADHD.
Number 6, concision. Lists convey a lot of information in relatively few words. Lists are concise and orderly distillations, small and digestible like tapas. So it's like, with complicated subjects such as nutrition, health, music, or dating, thematic lists impose a simple structure on complexity.
Okay, I've made lists before about dating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things that my mentor is really big on lists. So he will start list in my phone like that are like co-list with me, and he'll be like, these are the things that you need, like, and we'll just add to the list.
He sort of keeps you on track.
He kind of keeps me on track. He keeps me humble and keeps me honest.
I need a mentor.
But sometimes he'll add random stuff to my list that I'm not allowed, I can't say on the show.
Jesus Christ.
Because he'll just be like he started a list the other day because I was like, oh man, I really regret this. And he goes, that's the only thing you regret? He goes, I bet I can make a list of all the things you regret.
Jesus.
So he made a list of all the things that I regret. And he's like, number 1, not keeping my handgun handy. Number 2, living in the valley. Number 3, growing up in Florida. And it just like went down of like all these things that like, they're not things that I could regret because like
you had no choice in growing up in Florida.
Exactly. But I was like,
and the valley's awesome.
Exactly.
I
the
fucking
valley's
love the
great,
valley.
But
yes.
That's just one of the many lists that he's started with me. Another is pre-qualifications for dating. He's like, you need to get really clear on what you want when it comes to a partner, because I think he goes, you get fixated on like an overall idea of a person, but you miss all of the red flags, which are all the qualifications.
Well, because you're staring at the shiny blinky stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but he goes, if you write down what your qualifications are,
right, you have to
look at it and go, but then it feels so impersonal. Then I feel like I'm like having a bank loan meeting, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, do you own a house?
Well,
do you have addictions to anything? Do you have any drug or alcohol problems? What is your career?
Yeah, you can't do this on a date.
What's your relationship like with your family? Are your friends respectable people? No trauma or mental illness. There's only allowed for one of us to have that.
This is what dating is about.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, you find these things out while you're dating.
Yeah, he's like, no.
You can't ask these on the first date.
I think
there will be no second date.
Exactly.
Wait, have you never seen Love on the Spectrum? You absolutely can ask this.
I love that show. Before I started my testing process, I would watch that show and I'd be like, this is so honest. I was like, this is
then
great.
you need to find someone else on the spectrum to have these conversations with.
Wait, dinosaurs? Dinosaurs.
That was one of my favorite episodes where the guy goes, you know, I think she's a really nice person, but she doesn't like dinosaurs like I do. And I was like, fucking, you know what you... Hold your standards high, sir.
Die alone over dinosaurs. Die alone over something that's been extinct for millions of years. Yeah, exactly.
But so yeah, this guy was like, that I just remember watching that show, and I loved that show because of how honest they were in the dating process. And I was like, man, if more people approach dating like this, it would be so much easier.
If you can get all that shit out of the way, and then you can move forward, but. It's kind of fucking...
What, Mark? What are you going
to... No, I can't say it.
What are you going to get canceled for saying?
No.
Anyways. But I would watch that. I would watch that show and I was like, okay, so maybe having a list does organize it.
Yeah.
Because I do get distracted by the connection or the trauma bond or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, but on the first day you can't go, how do you feel about your mom? That's kind of...
No, but you can ask other questions about like your relationship with your family and things like that.
I guess there's a way to get to the stuff on the list. You just can't list it off like a list.
If I would have had this list when I was married, when I first started dating my ex-husband, there were a lot of things on this list that would have been huge red flags. And I blew through them because I love a carnival. You know what I mean?
No, that's life.
No.
That's part of the ride.
But when you're getting older, you have to know how to sort through stuff. And I think having this list...
Yeah, but I think
having this list has really helped me go, oh...
Yeah, but
I don't... And granted, I know people out there are going to get really mad about me having a list. They're going to be like, that's stupid. You can't categorize people off these lists and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, at the end of the day, I learn a lot from the answers of this list.
You do, but... I think a list can ultimately leave you alone because no one's going to satisfy everything. You're not going to be able to check every box off a list. Like if Tracy had that list before she started dating me, we wouldn't be together right now.
That's fair.
There's a lot.
And listen, there's some on this list that I'm like, I can forego.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is the list that like my mentor and I, like he added a bunch of stuff on there like that I think is just unrealistic. Like one of the things he put on there was owns a house. And I was like, we live in Los Angeles. That's hilarious.
Especially now.
That is hilarious. Exactly. Especially now.
I just think part of being in a relationship and especially a marriage is there's a lot. It's not all roses. There is arguments. There is disagreements. There's compromise. There's similarities, there's different, there's all these things that make a relationship. And I just don't think if you have a list of like, okay, this is acceptable, then you're not going to be with that person.
Yeah. But I can tell you that this list has already saved me, God, at least 6 to 8 months of like back and forth bullshit and like the will they, won't they energy.
Right.
Because there's stuff on here where it's like open to having a family or...
Well, that's a big one.
You know what I mean?
That's a big one.
And that's something that I feel like we're all scared to talk about. But at a certain point, you're just like, hey, I want to know what your priorities are.
Well, yeah. That's a completely... again, I don't know if that's a first date conversation.
Yeah.
You want to have kids.
One of the things Gary put on this list is... That's my mentor's name. I probably should cut that out of the episode.
But had Tracy had that list, if she had asked me when we first started dating if I want to have kids, I would have said no. Because I never wanted to.
One of the things put on this list is doesn't drive a Tesla truck.
Does not have a Cybertruck.
Yes.
That's an important one. But you'll know about that when they pick you up for the date.
I'll be like, sorry, this is on the list.
We're done here.
This is on the list.
We're done here.
Well, but no, I agree with the list.
But some people change. I mean, like, I had a kid, and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And I never, if Tracy had asked me that when we first started dating, I'm like, I don't think I want kids. And it would have been over there.
Really?
Yeah, so people change. I mean, I don't think it's as maybe that's why I'm anti-list, because I'm just like, I don't see everything as right and wrong, black and white. It's not just
that's
like
a huge leap.
What?
Yeah, I'm anti-list
because
now I'm happy I have a kid.
I'm anti-lists.
Yeah, I'm not anti-list because I feel like it helps me organize. I think I get so stuck in my feels that I need lists to keep me structured.
Forward,
it's to keep me structured and to remind myself what I want. You know, it's to remind me of what I want. I made a list in the summer of 2021 of the things that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot about this list. And I found it the other day. Eddie, I've done every single thing on that list.
Oh, nice.
And that is such a cool feeling when you're like, oh, fuck, I accomplished all the things that were my goals that I told myself I was going to do.
But you didn't need the list to check it off because it was in you.
No, but I think it was just the act of putting it down on paper that like solidified it in my brain that I was like, this is what I'm committed to doing. And also the other list I made was all of the behaviors that I had that were keeping me from doing the list. I wrote down like, what are the behaviors that are not helpful to me that I keep doing?
Did you eliminate those behaviors?
I did. Most of them. Most of them. Every once in a while, if I get off track, I'm like,
because of that behavior?
It's because I'm doing one of the behaviors and I'm like, you got to cut that out.
Interesting.
So list can help. It's just like, what are you using list for?
Number 7 on the list, lending a sense of accomplishment. Completing lists completing items on to-do lists provides a satisfaction, allowing us to see what we've done.
It did. When I saw that list from 2021,
you're like, fuck yeah. Self high five.
I cried because I was like, because there were some big things on that list. One of the things on that list was to make a sole living off comedy.
Yeah.
To not have a day job.
There you go.
And when I saw that I had done that, I was like, oh my God.
There you go.
That was a huge thing to put on a list at that time. Like it was like pie in the sky stuff. I was unemployed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to do this. And it's crazy. Am I convincing you to make lists yet?
No.
Jesus Christ.
I'm helpless. Decision making. Number 8. Lists can help with decision making. Listing the reasons for and the reasons against a particular option allows us to perceive the decision all at once without having to keep in mind the entire jumble of reasons.
That is what my dating list is. I go back to that dating list and it helps me make a decisions. Like, it's kind of like when like that scene in Major League, you know, where they like are putting the red tags in people's lockers to like cut them. It's kind of that. It's helping me make cuts.
You're whittling it down.
I got to know who's going to make the team.
But you still got to field a team at some point.
I like that you use that reference and not something like The Bachelorette with a rose.
No.
But you chose Major League. I appreciate it.
I think The Bachelorette is like one of the dumbest things ever. Don't get me wrong. I watched that stuff religiously back in the day.
But is that not the same analogy?
No, it's not. Because there are people there that are just there for the zip line. There are people there that are just there for the adventure and for the plot on that show. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just here to go on wild vacations, tell you I love you a couple of times and see if you fall for it. That's what The Bachelorette is to me.
Gotcha.
Whereas Major League, those guys were there for the right reason. They wanted to make the team. They wanted to make the team.
One last shot.
Yeah.
Number 9, breaking habits. We don't need to list what we habitually do. We leave items off our grocery list. We leave items off our grocery list that we always buy. However, if we have a habit we want to reduce or eliminate, then a not to do list is helpful.
Yep.
Many New Year's resolutions include behaviors not to do.
I make that list. I made that list. And sometimes it's those type of lists are not like, I'm not going to eat junk food or I'm not going to smoke. Like, it's like bigger behaviors that you have to be honest with yourself about, where it's like, I'm not going to reactively text somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm not going to instantly jump on defense. Like, I'm going to learn how to like sit in some discomfort and learn how to let things go. Like, that was like a big thing on my list. was to not let my emotions dictate my decisions, was to learn how to sit in that discomfort a little bit more and really sort through why I was feeling the way I was feeling. Because I was like, I had the shortest fuse where I was like, I was the quickest person to cut something off or cut someone off because I was just like, nope, decision made.
Right.
And now I kind of sit back in it and I'm like, okay, what's really going on here? You know, because I do think that I made a lot of good decisions still, but I didn't like how I felt in those moments when I made the decisions.
Right.
And that's what I was trying to curb, all of the back and forth of like, do I want to leave do I want to be in a relationship with someone or not? You know what I mean? So that was like one of those things that I used those type of lists for.
Interesting.
I didn't realize I made all these lists.
Right.
God.
I don't have any, especially a not to do one. Number 10, saving time. Lists are easy to write and efficient to read. There's no need for complex sentences or paragraphs. Important points can be made and written and identified quickly, especially compared to blocks of texts.
Yeah.
So saves time. Those are the 10 reasons we make lists.
I agree with a lot of them.
I don't know. I don't make lists. I have no idea. I should try. I'll try.
I think you should.
I'll give it a shot.
I think you might need prompts. Prompts really help for like the first time you do this.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's just, I use lists to figure out what I want.
Because my brain lives in chaos. Like, you know, there's like those spindle things you put a pin in and it scrolls around and you make that's what my brain.
Like spiral graph.
Spiral graph. That's my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is order, nothing sequential. Everything is just fucking random.
And that's what makes you a brilliant creative person.
But I can't.
But again, the spiral graph is like mathematically sound and precise.
Right. That's I'm alive. I've created a life and I have a child and a wife and we have a part. Like I've accomplished the major things, but it's the little minor tasks.
I would argue that it's not a spiral graph. I would argue it's a kid with a crayon that's just going to town.
Could be. It's
and
probably
it makes
that.
Absolutely no sense.
It's probably that.
Jon Stewart at the beginning of The Daily Show when he just scribbles all over the page.
That's me.
Yeah.
It's chaos, pure chaos.
But that energy is great for our career. It's great for being a creative. It's just now, how are you going to harness that into like being an effective business person?
Yeah, that's the problem.
And having forward progress.
That's always
on
been
stuff.
the problem.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to make lists, Eddie.
Maybe. We'll see. I'll make a list to make a list for next week.
Now you're just mocking.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Eddie, I know we skipped it last week because there was a lot going on. But do you happen to have...
I do have a Florida Man Friday.
Ooh, can you hit the bumper? Come on, Mark. You had one job.
Alex has it
He was too engaged in the conversation about list making.
He's too busy.
And cups.
It'll be put in.
Okay, fine. He'll do it in post. Okay.
I don't even think we need it.
Okay. What
Ready?
do you got? Yes.
Okay, here we go. Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus fucking. Okay, well, there was the bumper. He's pumping his arms like he accomplished something.
Sorry, guys.
Knock that off the list.
Oh.
Florida Man. Okay, well, I gotta explain what it is. Okay, we're doing Florida Man Friday. I read Jen. I need a list to know how to do this.
I hate you.
I'm doing Florida Man Friday. I read Jen Sturger 3 Florida Man headlines, 2 real, 1 fake. She just tell me what is the fake Florida Man headline. And Mark, you're playing along, right?
I'm in.
Here we go. Florida man breaks into a house, cleans it, and leaves behind origami. Florida man arrested for attempting to lasso flamingos at the zoo.
Damn it.
Florida man calls 911 after PlayStation stopped working.
I think it's number 2.
Lassos flamingos at the zoo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's number 2.
What do you think?
I think it's number 2 as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Both of you guys think the same thing. You're both right. It is number 2. There you go.
Want to know how I knew it wasn't?
How did you know?
How I knew it wasn't the first one?
Yeah.
Because I actually had a friend who used to live in Japan that said someone broke into her house and did a similar thing. Like Japanese break-ins are just very different than American break-ins.
Right.
Where like, the person literally broke into her house, was standing at the foot of her bed and was like, "Good morning. Did you know that your door was unlocked?" She's like, he took his shoes off and everything. And she's like, "Leave." And so he's like, okay, you should really lock that. And like, it was just like a pull. I was like, oh, that for sure happened. Like someone definitely broke in, got in, was like, oh my God, this place is such a mess. I can't rob them. Cleaned, made a little origami, or they worked on like a cruise ship where they fold the towels like that and stuff. But for sure, like I've heard of that happening
This
before.
is in 2019.
I literally have 2 pieces of very crisp origami sitting in the blue room. I'm like, where did that come from?
That's so
Someone
funny.
left origami. Man came home and found an intruder had entered his home, cleaned everything in the house, including spreading his bead and scrubbing the toilets. What is even more crazy is that he left behind origami roses on his toilet paper.
That's a one-night stand that wants to come back,
That is
but can't.
Absolutely. He banged whoever that was.
Okay.
All right.
And then, I mean, lassoing flamingos.
At the zoo.
You wouldn't lasso
Just
a
too
flamingo.
crazy.
Their
Why, they got
necks
long
are
necks.
too fragile.
I don't think he's trying to help them.
Their necks are fragile. So you wouldn't do that. I have seen them stored in a bathroom before for a hurricane. It's just, you just see all these flamingos like huddled up with like a spotlight on them against the bathroom wall. And they're just like, the fuck?
What the fuck is happening? It must smell so bad in that bathroom. Those flamingos fucking smell.
They do because they eat nothing but like shrimp.
Brine shrimp
So
or
it's
whatever
just,
the fuck. Fucking
and
just
then
diarrhea.
the last one was...
A Florida man calls 911 because his PlayStation stopped working.
That sounded like something Colton would do.
He probably would. Florida man called 911 to inquire why his PlayStation was not working. He wanted to know if there was a network issue.
I mean, I feel like the police station has a hotline for that at this point.
You would think.
Anyways, guys, Eddie, where can people find you?
You can find me at eddiepence.com or at eddiepence on all the socials.
You can find me at Jennifer Sturger on all the socials, guys, or jensturger.com. Eddie and I are going to have some dates coming up, so stick around. We are definitely trying to get back out on the road. If you have not signed up for Eddie's mailing list or my mailing list yet, please do it. We would love to come to your city. We would love to bring our show to the city, whatever. We're still figuring out what the format of that's going to look like, but we'd love to see you guys. We'd love to meet you in person. So please go to our pages and sign up for them ASAP, and keep liking, subscribing.
5-star rating, positive text
reviews. Yes. Yeah.
And if anyone's in the San Luis Obispo area, February 28th to March 1st, Jen and I will both be at the San Luis Obispo Comedy Festival.
I hope we're allowed to announce that. Yeah, this will be released by then.
Yes.
Nice. Well, there you go, guys. We're going to be in the Slow Fest together. So
if you're in that area, come on out. It's a fun festival. A lot of funny comics.
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We love you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of our family. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Not Today. Bye.